Hello, everyone, and welcome to a wonderful afternoon here on Tuesday. My name is Dina I'm with Zoomin Groomin, and I'm here to introduce you to Craig and Hillary Comer. Welcome, you guys, to the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us on.
You're welcome. There's a lot of questions out there. Why franchise in the first place? But first, I want to give a little background about you. You guys are truly like amazing. We call you Mumbas, which are people who have multiple franchises, anywhere from home health care. They were in the restaurant business with Liberty Tax. They've also have been with Play and Trade. Hillary had GameStop, Mosquito Joe, and now there was Zoom and Grooming. And they also are franchise owners of My Salon Suites. So all I can say is like, wow, I wish I would have known you like 10 years ago, answered all my questions. But, everybody here, I'm sure, is probably thinking about why would you franchise in the first place? So I'd like to kind of go back in time and tell people why you even thought about doing it in the first place. So share your thoughts about that.
Well, going back to 2002, when we both started on our separate paths to where we're at today, I was at a major accounting firm, and I always had a dream of being in business for myself. And I looked at a lot of stuff, and then a friend of mine had looked at Liberty Tax at a national convention in Philadelphia, came back, was excited. So I'm like, I'm in. And we haven't looked back since. So a lot of the things that we like about franchising is, of course, there's the systems in place and you get the support level, but there's a lot of other things too with a franchise, like networking. You have other franchisees that you can reach out to for if you're having a bad day, you want to bounce some things off, or what's working for you, it doesn't seem to be working here. That's huge. And then of course the national conventions are a fun time to be able to network. We've found over the last 21 years being in these franchises, there's a lot of value when you go to sell your franchise. So as opposed to a mom and pop, it's our experience has been it's a lot easier to market and sell the franchise.
And I think it's kind of apparent, it's really easy to hop from different businesses that are maybe trending really upward, like mobile grooming, things like that. So you don't need to be an expert in grooming or in salon suites to be able to be diverse in your business strategies. So it makes a much smoother transition to opening a business of just having a system already put in place.
And studies show that the failure rate is a lot less in franchises than if you're going into business for yourself without a franchise.
Do you have any statistics on that? Because that's an important piece. I didn't mean to cut you off, Hillary. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know any statistics on that, but I was just going to add another thing that's nice is your age and experience. You don't need years and years of experience in order to open a business, but more just the personality and the drive to do it. So any stage in your life, you could jump into starting a business as well.
Yes. And there is a benefit to starting them earlier than later. So I will anybody that is waiting for me, like I've waited a really long time, started my own businesses, being a serial entrepreneur, but also the first time being a franchise owner about a year now. And there is a big difference, one in the amount of funds that you'll spend getting in a startup situation, but also there's ways that, people need to evaluate, because not every franchise is the same. And I'd love for you guys to speak to that because there is a difference. And so how did you figure out which one was the best one?
Well, there's definitely a huge difference. We've been involved in 7 different ones with different companies. And of course, you want to do your due diligence of the industry that you're looking at. You want to look at competition, both national and local mom and pops. But you also want to do background and due diligence on the leadership of the franchise you're looking at. With our experience, that is extremely important because it's the character and the values that the company has. It's just as important as what you're looking at doing. And with Zoomin Groomin, that was one of the reasons why we chose to go to purchase the franchise is the leadership. It's high quality, it's trustworthy. Very important things to look at.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so you guys have been in this for a while. If you can like just share, in a situation where you're like, oh, this just really isn't working for me, right? And then fast forward, what really great looks like. What were some of the things that were kind of signals to you that, this isn't what I thought it was?
Well, there's I don't want to like put any names out like right out the front, but some of the strategies that some of our franchisors in the past have worked very well, but they necessarily didn't change to adapt to an aging franchise. So you'll find, some things that work very well at the beginning may not work well for you at year 7 or 8. And to continue to, if you get into a system that forces you to spend money on things maybe that aren't working as well, not saying you can't go back to the basics, but we had a franchise that forced us to spend $30,000 every year in direct mail. And, year 1, 2, and 3, it was great. But year, 4, 5, 6, 7, year 7, we had 5 territories and we're spending $50,000 and we couldn't get any, and it completely
something that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
It just choked. So
there's an old saying, adapt or die, and the good franchise systems will adapt and also listen to the franchisees.
Yeah.
That's another thing with Zoomin Groomin. We know the leadership there listens and adapts. I mean, even with Zoomin Groomin, we see it already. That's very important.
Yeah. And I totally 100% agree with you. When I first looked at it, one of the things that was very alluring for me is the leadership team, and can I get behind a vision of, what does that look like? What does leadership look like? Can I work with them? Can they work with me? Is that going to help me to be successful? And that was really very pivotal for me when I was starting to look at, taking your retirement money and then rolling that over and knowing that, as it's always a risk, on any time you're going to invest in something, but it's always a little bit more comforting when you know that the culture is there, with the company as well. What would you say to people who are thinking about potentially being part of the Zoomin Groomin franchise?
Well, it is very like fresh and young. So being able to adapt, our kids are our first franchisees. And granted, they're in a learning curve, but they're definitely adapting and being able to do more things strictly online and picking up things quickly in a world that's very mobile and technical.
Yeah.
That's why we got into it. We sold a franchise in December. We're driving home one day, and we've been talking about this for a long time. What are we going to do next? And we keep seeing this mobile dog grooming van at our neighbors over and over and over. We start reading into it, find out that it's a very fast-growing business. It's very fragmented. There's a lot of mom and pops, but there's no national players really at this time.
Right.
So when we asked the kids, just something that you'd be interested in doing, because mom and dad are not going to run the day-to-day operations. So that's something that we're going to be the coach, and then you guys run it. And they said yes, and that's where we're at. We feel that it's a great industry, a great brand, great leadership, and those are the reasons that we chose Zoomin Groomin.
And honestly, just to keep it really simple, I think the van is beautiful in itself. So looking at multiple platforms of franchises, it definitely, the van that we've seen was not very attractive. Other franchises in this industry are not very attractive, but I think our van looks fantastic.
Yes.
I think the name is good. And those are things that we consider too when we're looking into different franchises.
And dealing with the customers is fun because when it involves their pets, they're in a great mood.
Yeah.
The pets are what they love. They want to take care of them. So it's an easy service industry, we feel, from our experience so far.
Yeah, it's a high need. When you look at the pandemic times and everybody getting a dog, this time couldn't be any more primed for people that are looking for groomers and really good groomers. Now we've got the mobile situation where, makes things so much easier for a lot of people, so it's definitely a great brand. It is here too. And we see this all over the United States. And I know you guys are currently area developers. So why don't you share with the listeners, what area do you guys cover? And give them a phone number in case they'd like to talk with you about maybe your own experiences with, the Lloyd brand franchises.
So we are area developers of the Metro Detroit area. The franchises or the territories that are surrounding the Detroit proper. What currently is 10 territories. You can reach us at 248-342-4518. And then you can also go to discover zoomingroomin.com to find out more information on the franchise.
Perfect. I love that. And I'm Dina Redinger. I'm the area developer for Northwest Arkansas in Kansas City, Missouri. But my franchise is here in Springfield, Missouri. And so I've expanded that just a little bit. So now we're covering the northern part of Springfield all the way down to Branson, Missouri, along that Arkansas border as well. So for people who are thinking about a franchise, as you can hear from the comers and for myself and my own experience, is that I do believe that you do get the support you need. I think just having that low cost of entry right now, it's a hot ticket, it's a hot market. Now's the time to get in now if you want, because we're expanding all over the United States. But we want to thank you guys for joining us, our show today, and sharing your experiences. And I think you have a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience that anybody can learn from, including myself. So thank you for joining me today here, and you guys take care, and I know we'll be seeing you guys soon. You can reach me at 550-2477, and I'll sign off. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dina. We appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, you guys.